Hello guys, in this video I will be discussing module 6, which is rotation of rigid bodies. Okay, so all of my discussion will be based on university physics with modern physics 14th edition by Young and Friedman. Okay, so let us tackle first the angular velocity. Okay, when a body is rotating on its axis, for example this figure, ayan, yung needle, yun yung body natin, and it is rotating at the axis of rotation na O. Ito. Ayan. So, yung rotation niya is measured by an angle, which is theta. Okay? If you remember your um, solid mensuration, na itong distance na to, that is equivalent to or denoted as S. Okay? And that is equivalent to r theta, 'di ba? Radius of the object, and then the angle of displacement. So this distance is equivalent to or denoted as S and equivalent to r theta. So S is equals to r theta, wherein theta is in radians. Okay. So meron tayong tinatawag na angular velocity. Okay, that is denoted in rotation as omega. Okay, ang omega ay equivalent, average ha, sa theta 2 minus theta 1 over T2 minus T1 or delta theta over delta T. Yung instantaneous angular velocity naman, that is the limits of delta theta over delta T approaching 0, or d theta over d time, okay, or the derivative of theta with respect to time. Okay, so ayan, so ibig sabihin omega is equivalent sa d theta over d time. Ayan, dt. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng angular velocity, or the velocity in terms of rotation. Okay. So sa example number 1, let us apply that. The angular position of theta of the angular position theta of 0.36 meter diameter flywheel is given by, okay, meron siyang binigay na equation, theta 2 rad per second cube t cube. Find theta in radians and in degrees at t1 2 second and t2 5 seconds. So ano daw yung theta? So simple lang, uh, substitute lang natin. So 2.0 rad per second cube t cube. So 2 seconds cube. So this is equivalent sa 2 times 2 cube, 16. So cancel si second, 16 rad. Okay. Then convert natin sa degrees. Ang isang rad, 2 pi rad, okay, ay equivalent sa 360 degrees. Okay. So that is equivalent sa 360 over 2 pi, 916.73. Okay. 916.73 degrees. Okay. So, yung theta naman in 5 seconds, so meron tayong 16 rad at saka 916.73. Yung theta naman ng 5 seconds is 2.0 rad per second cube, 5.0 second cube. Okay. 2 times 5 cube, that is 250 rad times 360 over 2 pi rad. Cancel, cancel. 250 times 360 over 2 pi. Ayan. That is equivalent sa 14,323.94 degrees. Ngayon, if we will apply yung significant figure, makikita natin na ang significant figure natin ay dalawa. So, convert natin na ito ay magiging dalawa lang yung significant figure. Paano natin gagawin? Pwede natin itong isulat na 9.2 times 10 raised to 1, 2. Ayan. Ito pwede natin degrees isulat as 1.4 times 10 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 degrees. Or, pwede natin siyang isulat as 920 degrees at 14,000 degrees. Okay. Yan yung final answer. Letter B naman, find the distance that a particle on the flywheel rim moves from T1 to T2. Okay, ano daw yung distance traveled from 2 seconds to 5 seconds. So, that is S, diba? So, delta S is equivalent, syempre, sa theta 2 minus theta 1 over T2 minus T1. Tama? Okay. And that is equivalent sa, sorry, parang mali to. S is equals to R theta, diba? So, R theta 2 minus R theta 1 over T2 minus, ito lang pala, R theta 2 minus R theta 1. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan lang natin dito is yung distance, okay? So, R is 0.36 diameter. So, divide natin siya sa 2 kasi diameter yon. That is 0.18, okay, 0.18 meters. And then, ang theta 2 natin is 250 rad minus 16 rad, okay. So, ang delta S natin is 0.18 times 250 minus 16. Ayan. 42. Kung titingnan natin yung significant figure, dalawa, so 42 meters. Ayan. And then letter C, find the average velocity, angular velocity in radians per second and revolution per minute. Okay, over that interval. Ito na yung sinasabi natin na over time. So, average angular velocity. So, omega average, okay, is equivalent sa theta 2 minus theta 1 over T2 minus T1, okay. That is 250 minus 16 over 5 minus 2. So, kung titingnan natin yung average, that is 250 minus 16, 5 minus 2, 78. Okay. 78 radians per second. Now, pwede natin siyang i-convert sa revolution per minute. So, 78 radians per second times 2 pi rad is 1 revolution. Okay. 60 seconds is 1 minute. So, this is equivalent sa 78 times 1 over 2 pi times 60, 744. Okay. Kung titingnan natin, the significant figure, ang pinaka-konti is itong dalawa. Okay. Kasi ito constant naman yan, so hindi natin siya pwedeng pagbasihan. So, 78. Magiging 7.4 times 10 raised to 2 RPM or 740 revolution per minute. Okay. Next is Find the instantaneous angular velocity. So, instantaneous, sabi sa instantaneous, diba, omega is equivalent sa dt over d time. So, omega, meron tayong theta derivative ng 2.0 rad per second cube t cube over dt. Ayan. So, i-derive natin siya. So, omega is equivalent sa derivative ng theta, that is 3 times 2.0 rad per second cube t squared over, ayan na pala, yan, t squared. So, ang instantaneous velocity natin at time 2 seconds is 2.0 2 squared, okay, 3 times 2 times 2 squared, 24 rad per second. So, ang angular velocity niya at 2 seconds is 24 at ang angular velocity niya at 5 seconds, 3 times 2 times 5 squared ay equivalent sa 150 rad per second. Okay. So, that is our final answer for letter D. Okay. So, let's proceed to the next, angular acceleration. Pag angular acceleration naman, ang average angular acceleration natin ay denoted as alpha. So, that is omega 2 minus omega 1 over t2 minus t1. At ang instantaneous angular acceleration naman is denoted as alpha z, which is the derivative of omega over dt, or with respect to time. Okay, so alpha d omega dt. Okay. So let us apply that in example 2. For the flywheel in example 1, find the average angular acceleration. Okay, angular acceleration alpha. So that is omega 2 minus omega 1 over t2 minus t1. That is average. Okay. So ang omega 2 natin is ito 150 omega 2 to and omega 1. So, 150 minus 24. 150 minus 24. 5 minus 2. So, that is equivalent sa 150 minus 24. 5 minus 2. 42. 42 rad per second squared. Okay? And then, find the instantaneous angular acceleration. So, instantaneous naman, 'di ba? D omega over dt, 'di ba? Or pwede rin siyang, 'di ba? Ang omega is equivalent sa dt over d time, tama ba? So kapag kukunin natin yung instantaneous acceleration, nakuha natin yun kanina, 'di ba? Yung omega natin is naging 3, ito 'yon. Formula natin sa omega. So, i-derive natin siya ulit. So, alpha is equivalent to D 2, this is 3, 2.0 rad per second cube t squared. Okay, dt. So, pag dinerive natin siya, magiging 6, 2.0 rad per second cube t. So, yan yung alpha natin. So, ang alpha 2 natin, alpha 1 pala is 6, 2 times 2. At ang alpha 2 natin ay 6 times 2 times 5. Okay? So, that is equivalent sa 6 times 2 times 2. That is equivalent sa 24. Okay? Rad per second squared at 6 times 2 times 5, that is equivalent sa 60 rad per second squared. Okay. So that is how you answer example number 2. Okay. Let's proceed to the rotation with constant angular acceleration. So, eto yan. Three formulas. If you notice, ay halos kaparehas siya nung linear. Kung naalala nyo yung linear at constant acceleration, 'di ba? V is equals to V initial plus AT. So, dito rin, angular acceleration, the omega z is equals to omega o plus alpha t. So, halos parehas lang, pinalitan lang ng convention ng angular. Okay? So, you just have to memorize this formula. Yan ay gagamitin lang kapag constant yung angular acceleration. So, for example, dito sa 3, you have finished watching a movie on Blu-ray and the disc is slowing to a stop. The disc angular velocity at t is equals to 0, okay? This is angular velocity. Initial is 27.5 rad per second. And its angular acceleration is a constant, okay? This is constant, negative 10 rad per second squared. A line PQ on the disk surface lies on the positive x-axis at time 0. Okay. What is the disk angular velocity at 3 seconds? At 0.3 seconds rather. Okay. So, ang nahanap natin dito is yung omega final. So, omega final is equals to omega O plus alpha T, di ba? If you remember yung formula ng kinematics. So, omega final, that is, ang omega O natin is 27.5. Ang alpha natin is negative 10 times time na 0.3 seconds. This is equivalent sa 27.5 minus 10 times 0.3. Okay. Equivalent sa 24.5. Okay. 24.5 radians per second. And then, that is the answer for letter A. Sa letter B, what angle does the line PQ make with the positive x-axis? So, kung idodrawing natin to, ito yung disk. Ito yung disk. Tapos, ito yung line PQ. Nasa positive x-axis siya. What angle does the line PQ with the positive axis at this time? So, syempre, umiikot to at 0.03 seconds daw. Ano yung angle na displace niya? 'Di ba? So, if you remember the formula, theta final or theta 2 is equals to theta initial plus omega t plus 1 half alpha t squared. Okay? So, theta 2 is equals to theta 0, dahil nasa positive x-axis siya, wala pa siyang angle, that is 0, plus omega t, that is 27.5, time is 0.3, plus 1 half, alpha is negative 10, and then t squared, that is 0.3 squared. Okay? So, ang theta 2 natin is 27.5 times 0.3, okay, minus 1 half 10, 0.3 squared. Okay, that is equivalent to 7.8 radians. Okay, 7.8 radians, or pag degrees yan ay equivalent sa 2 pi rad 360. That is equivalent sa 360 over 2 pi 446 degrees. Okay? So, that's it. That is how you answer example 3. Then, next natin, relating linear and angular kinematics. Okay? Halimbawa, may given ka na angular, i-convert natin siya sa linear. So, ito yon. So, pag velocity hinahanap, that is equivalent to radius times angular velocity or angular speed. Kapag angular acceleration, that is the tangential, that is r alpha. Pag angular acceleration na centripetal or rad, that is omega squared r. Okay? So, you just have to remember this formula. So let us apply that in example 4. An athlete whirls a discus in a circle of radius 80 centimeter. Okay. At a certain instant, the athlete is rotating at 10 rad per second and the angular speed is increasing 50 rad per second squared. For this instant, find the tangential and centripetal component of the acceleration of the discus and the magnitude of the acceleration. Sabi kanina, ang A tangential ay equivalent sa R alpha, okay? That is equivalent sa 80 centimeter, that is 0.8 meters, times alpha na 50.0 rad per second squared. Okay, so 0.8 times 50, that is equivalent sa 40. Okay, so ang tan natin or tangential acceleration is 40 rad per second squared. 40 meter per second squared. Okay? And then, ang A centripetal or rad, okay, that is omega squared R, okay? Ang omega natin, that is the angular velocity, that is 10.0 squared, and then R na 0.8, so that is okay, so that is 10 squared times 0.8, 80 meter per second squared. Okay, so that is how you answer example number 4.